This soya bean is 40% protein. So when you combine soya bean and maize, now if you analyze, or those that understand will know that there is a protein, a type of protein in wheat, in maize, that is not in soya bean, and there is a type in soya bean that is not in maize. So when you combine these two, you have a complete protein for your feed. So in case you don't really have money, or the cost of this is very high, and you still need to formulate your feed, some persons always replace it with cassava. Now cassava cannot totally replace this maize in starter feeds. It can replace it for other levels of growth, but for starter, don't replace it with cassava peels or cassava cake or whatever cassava product that you bought. It will not perfectly replace it. Why? Because the color, the color will not attract the chicks to the feeds. Two, the content, the composition, the nutrient composition of cassava cannot be compared to maize, because maize is a cereal and then cassava is a tuber. Now cassava is highly, or is rich in carbohydrate, more of carbohydrate, although maize contains carbohydrate, but it's also rich in protein and other components that we will need for the feed. So it's not good to replace cassava peels or cassava cake for starter. Now from the ingredients, you can see we have maize, we have corn bran, palm kernel cake, we have soya bean meal, we also have groundnut cake and fish meal. You must be sure that the fish meal is okay, and it's not the ones that are decaying. So you must get a very good fish meal. And we also have the bone meal. And now, in order to further fortify our feed, we need this vitamin and mineral premix. You can easily get it in the store. And then lysine and methionine. 1, 2, 3 ingredients. Just go to the store and get it. And then you have to add salt. It's very, very important. Now for percentage, for starter, we are going to have 48%, and then 6.8% of our corn bran, and then for palm kernel cake we have 5%, for soya bean we have 20%. Fish meal contains every nutrient that your birds need. So when you add the fish meal to the feed, it makes it richer. And so we have bone meal. The bone meal makes their bones and the structure, the veins and nerves to be very, very strong. And then you add your vitamin and mineral premix, your lysine and the methionine, and then you add salt. This is a good, powerful combination for your starter. And when you move to finisher or grower, the level of finisher, then you can now, if you don't have money or the cost of the feeds is becoming too high, and you want to replace this maize with cassava for finisher, then if you are replacing this one with cassava, then the thing what you should increase is here. You have to increase this soya bean meal in order to increase the quantity of protein that will cover up, because what the cassava is coming to do is to add weight, energy, and it's carbohydrate, so it will add energy. And then this one, the soya bean meal and your fish meal, the groundnut cake, will also increase to cover up what this maize is to provide or supply. So if you are dealing with the finisher and the cost of maize is too high, increase this, and then get the cassava. Now you don't just use cassava chips. That means you don't just slice. If you are including cassava to your finisher or to your feed, you must use the pelleting machine, or you have to grind it very well, and it must be very dry. Now for finisher, if you look at it, you can see that there's a big difference. The starter is always richer than the finisher. The starter is always richer than the finisher, because at their early stage they need high protein, and the feed must be very rich for their immune system to be balanced. So this feed, this formulation will help to boost their immune system to be able to survive for the next 16 days. Now, after 16 days, you have to switch from starter to finisher. If you just remove the starter and put in finisher, there will be a drop. No, the size, they will just the size, the growth rate will just collapse. That if you see your birds reducing in size, if you just switch automatically. So what you need to do is, getting to 14 days, you start introducing this gradually. In other words, you can take one custard measure of this one and then half custard of this one. You mix it and introduce. At least for 2 days, that means 14 or 15, 16 day, you are mixing this. And then for the 17th day, you are to increase this to one custard and reduce this. And so by the time you get to 20th day, you have totally removed this and then introduce this one fully. Because if you just switch like that, there will be a very, very damaging effect, a very bad effect on your birds. That is my own pattern. That is how I do my own. There may be others that will just switch and then go ahead. Now, one secret I want to share with you is that you must make sure that there is light all through the night for your birds to eat. The more they eat, the more they grow very fast. Now, if you are targeting 6 weeks, to bring them out, if you are targeting to sell them in 6 weeks' time, then they must constantly eat and eat well. Now, if you depend solely on feed, you may not meet up the target. The market weight may not be good. And so what you need to do is to go to the market, meet a veterinary doctor to give you a good multivitamin that you will include in the water or in this feed. That way, your feeds will be balanced. Now, when you are switching from starter to finisher and you have introduced cassava instead of maize, and maybe you are able to make the proper changes and ratios here, what you need to do is, because you have introduced cassava, carbohydrate is high and protein has dropped. For you to balance it, you must go look for a good fish meal, very good fish meal, or go to the market women, those that sell fish, buy dry fish from them and then grind it, blend it and mix with your feed. Another thing is that your multivitamin must always be available in their water and maybe the dry one that you can mix with the feed. That way you are sure of good, perfect result and you smile to the bank. So this is the formulation I want you to use. Now, there are some times that I was using my blood meal, and the blood meal is risky because it may contaminate the feed. Now, if you don't have enough knowledge on how to apply blood meal, because if you apply cassava peels or peels or maybe cassava products here and remove the maize and then you are using it as finisher, a lot will happen. So for you to make it very rich, even better than the maize, there are a lot of things you should add. Now, one of the easiest things to add is the blood meal. That blood meal can attract bacteria and other diseases, but if you know how to use it, if you can boil it with good quantity of salt and boil it to a point that they are thick like kidney, and then you take it to the dryer and dry them very well. When it is dry, you store them in a very good condition. Now, whenever you are giving your feed, you scoop a little, mix it with the feed, the ones you have to give the bird, then you supply the feed in the poultry farm, and then they will eat. I tell you, in 6 weeks' time, you will be surprised. But if you know that you cannot really manage the process of preparing your blood meal, please don't apply because it may lead to death. Another simple secret I want to share with you is that there should be constant heat in your farm. There should be constant heat, whether you have exceeded the brooding time or you are still in the brooding time. There should be constant heat. When there is constant heat, especially when you have exceeded the brooding time, that means 14 days has elapsed, don't remove the fire totally, don't remove the heat source totally, because when there is heat and you have multivitamin in the water, they will always go there to drink. Their feathers will be open, they will be drinking, and when the more they drink, the more the feed get digested, and so the more the feed is converting to meat. Now when they drink like that and eat, they drink and eat, and the meat conversion rate is very high. Definitely at the 6th week you will have amazing size of birds that when you step into the market with your birds, everybody will ask how. Please don't forget to subscribe, click on that notification bell. Also drop your comment, your own idea, your own experience in this business. That way others will learn.